First, let's go over some air pollution standards here in the United States. In America, the EPA, or Environmental Protection Agency, sets the standards for air quality. The Clean Air Act, last amended in 1990, sets the National Ambient Air Quality Standards. These standards are categorized into two types, primary and secondary. As described on the EPA website, primary standards provide public health protection, including protecting the health of sensitive populations, such as asthmatics, children, and the elderly. Secondary standards provide public welfare protection, including protection against decreased visibility and damage to animals, crops, vegetation, and buildings. China is currently one of the world's top emitters of sulfur dioxide. Sulfur dioxide emissions are primarily the cause of coal-powered power plants, which is where China gets most of its electricity. The United States has an abundance of natural gas, so it is moving away from coal in favor of natural gas to power turbines at thermoelectric power plants. As a result, acid rain is a serious problem. It changes the pH in agriculture soil, and worse, pollutes streams, rivers, and lakes. However, vehicle pollution is the cause of about 70% of the smog that casts a haze over certain Chinese cities, including Beijing, a situation more recently covered by US media. China has a variety of strict standards already in place to control levels of pollutants in the air. There are carbon credit programs in place, similar to those implemented by other nations. These credits can be traded by companies with those emitting less pollution, selling credits to those emitting in excess. The number of credits available is capped to keep pollution levels at a norm. Power plant emission standards for sulfur dioxide are 100 milligrams per cubic meter of air, more stringent than the United States limit of 160 and the European standard of 200. The Chinese standard for particulate material, PM2.5, fine-grained particles of size 2.5 microns or less, is 30 milligrams per cubic meter of air, also lower than the American and European standards. Furthermore, China has adopted the European 4 emission standard for passenger vehicles. Emission standards for vehicles is given in grams per kilometer driven. The emission standards for passenger vehicles for nitrogen dioxide, particulate matter, and carbon monoxide are 0.25, 0.025, and 1 gram per kilometer respectively. These standards vary by vehicle size, truck versus car, the age of the vehicle, and the region in which the vehicle is operated. Overall, one could say these standards are comparable, if not stricter than current American standards. On Friday, October 11, 2013, Beijing air quality for PM2.5 averaged 59 milligrams per cubic meter of air, ranging from a low of 19 to a high of 158, with the numbers climbing steadily through the day. That converts to an air quality index of 153, which is classified by international norms as unhealthy. To put these numbers into perspective, consider some other cities around the world that are also considered to have problems with air pollution. Mexico City's annual average for the same pollutant is about 22. Santiago, Chile's exacerbated winter month average in July and August is 36. In fact, 16 of the world's 20 most polluted cities are in China. The air in some cities is so bad that at times visibility drops to 30 feet. Traffic slows to a crawl, and nearly everyone wears masks over their noses and mouths. Earlier this year in Beijing, the density of small, lung-penetrating particles reached 993 micrograms per cubic meter, a concentration normally not seen outside of forest fires. The EPA considers anything above 300 dangerous, while its scales max out at 500. The smog was so thick in Beijing that a factory building burned for 3 hours before anyone even noticed that it was in flames. This graph shows PM2.5 concentration levels on December 5th through 6, 2013. The AQI, or Air Quality Index, ranges from below 50, which is considered good, to over 200, which is considered hazardous. Standards are in place, why does excess pollution continue to occur? It's the result of 2 decades of runaway economic development, unrestrained by strong air pollution laws, a dramatic increase in car ownership, and China's overwhelming reliance on coal. Due to the explosive growth of the middle class, the Chinese now own more than 120 million cars and another 120 million motor vehicles of other kinds. Auto emissions, however, account for only about 25% of the problem. The leading cause of China's air pollution is the inordinate levels of coal consumption by power plants. China burns almost as much coal as the rest of the world combined. Despite making large investments in renewable energy, China still depends on coal to make nearly 70% of its power needs.
Causing many foreign and local parents to consider moving out of Beijing. Including costs from both lost labor and the increase in need for healthcare, a study conducted by Massachusetts Institute of Technology finds that air pollution cost the Chinese economy $112 billion in 2005 compared to the $22 billion in damages in 1975. Possible solutions include introducing cleaner fuel standards to power plants, improving urban planning by incorporating the construction of green spaces, restricting the construction of power plants and other energy-intensive industries near residential areas, reducing coal consumption, and increasing